The chair now recognizes the gentleman from, I know Mr. Massie and Ms. Jackson-Lee have worked on this legislation. The chair recognizes Mr. Massie, the sponsor of the bill, for an opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. H.R. 6824, the NICS Data Reporting Act, is a simple and straightforward piece of legislation that many colleagues on both sides of the aisle have supported in the past. In fact, this legislation was part of a gun bill that the Democrats passed when they were in the majority. They were so kind as to allow this to be included. It simply requires the Attorney General to submit to Congress a report that includes the demographic data of the individuals determined to be ineligible to purchase a firearm based on a background check performed by the National Instant Criminal Background Check System. During the last Congress, I offered this as an amendment to H.R. 7910, a bill introduced by our colleague, Ranking Member Nadler. Then Chairman Nadler accepted the language at markup of that bill, which went on to pass the House. According to FBI's report on federal denials, as of 2024, there have been over 2 million individuals denied access to a firearm after a NICS background check system. However, there have been nowhere near 2 million prosecutions of individuals for lying on their Form 4473, which is the form that potential firearms purchasers complete for their background check. In fact, the number of prosecutions is very low. There were 12 cases that were successfully prosecuted in 1 year out of the millions of denials. So one question is, why is the Department of Justice not prosecuting these crimes? And the answer is, look, a lot of these, most of these are false positives. And we want to know why they were falsely denied. One concern that I have here, and research has shown this is actually a fact, is that they're sloppy at the NICS, in the NICS check in a way that deprives disproportionately American citizens of their right to own a firearm. For instance, they use phonetically similar spellings of names to do the background check, and they use not exact birthdays, but similar birthdays. If you were applying for a job at a bank and they were this sloppy with their background check system, the people doing the background check system or the bank who was hiring people would be sued out of existence. Because here's the problem at NICS that our research has shown. People within ethnic and racial groups share similar names. So if you're Hispanic, you're likely to have a name that's similar to somebody else's who is Hispanic. If you're Black, you're more likely to share a name with somebody else who is Black. Now, what happens, and the data will show this, and that's why we have to get the data, is that if you're a Black male and you go to purchase a firearm and you're a law-abiding citizen, never committed a crime, have no disqualifying aspect, and they do a background check system on you, you're 3 times as likely to be denied, falsely denied, the purchase of a firearm, because you are likely to have a false positive, a false match with somebody who has a disqualifying condition. For instance, somebody who's been convicted of a crime that's punishable by a year or more in prison. And if you are Hispanic, we suspect that the false denial rate is twice for Hispanic males, that it's twice what it would be for Caucasian males. And this is problematic. I mean, regardless of how you feel about the background check system, it needs to be accurate, and it can't be inaccurate in a way that's racially prejudicial. So this is basically a very simple bill. It's a reporting bill. I've asked the FBI director in our hearings to give us this data. They say they would give it to us, and they haven't. For years, I've been asking for this data. They haven't been giving it to us. It's time to pass a law to get this data, and I appreciate the bipartisan support we've had on this in the past. Yield back.
Gentleman yields back. We appreciate the gentleman's leadership on this, as well as the ranking member. Now recognize